You're not even going to believe this. Hit the like button because remember the entry exit system that they said they were going to put out back in 2025. Remember that? Hit the like button if you do. That entry exit system was going to be for the Schengen European area. It was not going to be used for people who are already EU passport holders or have EU residence. It was going to be for people who were American, Chinese, Australian, Canadian, African, Asian, whoever that was not of the EU. Well, friends, I have some bad news coming out of Greece, coming out of Belgium, coming out of Eastern Europe. They are now stating that the entry exit system that captures your iris, your facial features, and saves them for multiple years is not functional because it's causing such delays in the airports through travel, and customers are getting angry. Airports are getting angry. Immigration agencies in Europe are getting angry. Now, they tried to put this through for the B system, obviously, but it's just not panning out. The folks do not want it. I'm going to break it down in this video, show you a few articles because this is crazy and it definitely does put a damper on their B system plans. If you were to type in entry exit system EES delays on Google, you're going to see a few keywords. EES delays today, EES delays at Charles de Gaulle Airport, EES delays at airports, EES delays Frankfurt, EES delays Amsterdam, EES delays Geneva, Schiphol, Munich, all over Europe. This B system function is causing a level of delay that they are now alarming people and reporting on the news. This is international news. This is an expat alert, of course, a crisis where they're like, hey, it's getting more difficult to travel through Europe. We said that we were using the entry exit system to make it easier because you don't need a passport. You just need to scan your eyeballs, scan your nose, scan your lips so we can see who you are, what you're like, save you in our system so that we can compile this conglomerate of all of humanity that goes through Europe and use your facials. But those who already went through the system, let me tell you, they're saying the system isn't functioning. So let this just be a rule of thumb. Never be the guinea pig in everything or anything at all for that matter. Do not sign up to be like, well, I'm gonna be the first person to try this. Every time they have a scenario where they're launching something new, they're doing something new on the global stage, sit in the back quietly and say, I'm not even going to get into this. As I'm reporting this to you, BBC published a new article. We're gonna get into it, but let's just begin with The Guardian. Severe delays at European borders are currently being caused by the EU's new entry-exit system. The digital system, which requires non-EU visitors to provide facial scans with fingerprints, has caused wait times of up to 5 hours, missed flights, and long queues at major airport hubs and ferry ports. This is an overview of how the EES rollout is disrupting the summer travel this year. The EES replaces manual passport stamping. Remember that. Last year they came out with it. We've covered it so much on this channel. They wanted to replace manual passport stamps. Say bye to your stamps. We just want your iris. We just want to see what your eyes look like. We need your cheekbones. We need your nose structure. We need your face. Like, we got to put this in our system. Who knows what they do with it after that? Who knows what they're doing with all these faces that they've digitally implanted in some system in Europe somewhere? Who knows? But it is very complex and it's causing bottlenecks across the board. The Airports Council International has said that they have written an open letter to the European Commission pleading for flexibility or a temporary suspension of the system during peak summer months. They're like, you're slowing down our money. It's summer, you're slowing down travel. These people are trying to get out of France, Italy, Spain. It's too hot here. You're slowing them down. You know, Europe's just going through a lot. Leave a comment down below if you're noticing the patterns, like Europe is just like really going through a lot here. We have the fires. We have over 2,000 people, may they rest in peace, unalived through the intense pressure that they were receiving from the sun. And then we have the entry-exit system that's just messing up travel. Like, gosh, what is Europe going to be like next year? So their response is that they're not getting rid of it. They say it's going to take 1 to 2 years to fully stabilize. And the European Commission has promised to ramp up support and help those that are directly impacted, with member states encountering the horrible backlogs. Now, if you're like, sis, how do I avoid this entry-exit system? Well, I'm going to break it down. I'm about to tell you right now. Share this video. You're going to want to look at connecting flights to get you to the continent of Africa through the Caribbean. These are increasingly becoming more popular. Or even not through the Caribbean, New York now will get you a direct flight to Accra, Ghana. This is your entryway to the continent. I'm so glad that we're talking about this right now, because we are doing the 24th State of the Diaspora. And for this edition, see, the State of the Diaspora is a workshop that occurred and was birthed through encountering corruption in Africa. And so we were like, this is the state of what the diaspora in Africa is going through. This is the state of investors, of entrepreneurs, of retirees. But we've done this a lot of times, and now we're seeing another trend, another shift. Can you believe it? The shift is that expats are increasingly being fired from W-2 roles. Even people who are not expats are being fired from W-2 roles. Black women are being forced out of the corporate workforce. And so it has never been a better time in history to become an entrepreneur. Now, I've been an entrepreneur for 10 years, have helped over 257 different businesses in my tenure, acquiring $31.9 million plus for my clients and counting to this date. And this is what helped us get residency in Mauritius, to be quite honest with you. But you can also get residence through your side hustle that's about to become your main hustle. But here's the thing. There's only 3 countries in Africa where that's really possible. Now, I know YouTube and Google are telling you otherwise, okay? I know people are like, well, you can go here, you can go there, you can. But honestly, from a stability legal framework, you can only stay in a couple of countries for 5 to 10 years at a time, because a lot of these countries are 2-year residence permits that you renew every 2 years and keep telling them, hey, I have 100K in the bank, I have 200K in the bank, I have 300K in the bank. Ma'am, sir, none of that is necessary if you choose our top 3 countries of 2026 to relocate to and do business in. These are none other than Ghana, Mauritius, and Rwanda. Why are these the countries? Well, if you would just pause this video, go to their respective immigration websites, you will find that Ghana just reduced the requirement to no minimum capital investment for an investor like you in the service industry to come in and acquire a 5-year investor's permit. Look it up. Look it up. Mauritius, self-employed entrepreneur permit. Guess what? 10 years. Self-employed entrepreneur, 10 years. Yes, that's 10, T-E-N, that you can get if you go to Mauritius, Africa, my country of choice, the country that I've lived in and have given birth in. Now, yes, my favorite country of all. And oh my gosh, I forgot. They still have the digital nomad visa that's free, the premium digital nomad visa that's now being referred to as the golden premium visa, where you still, if you have a service-based business that makes what, $2,000 a month, $1,500 a month, and you show that on paper, like your banking statements, your portfolio, your website, your homepage, what you do for your clients, well, they're going to be like, oh, yes, ma'am, sir, come on in. Then you can convert to your self-employed entrepreneur for 10 years, renewable to 20 years if you meet the very low, reasonable requirements as an American. I mean, a lot of you have skills. A lot of you have service capabilities, but we're going to unlock it in the State of the Diaspora Business Edition. Link in the description. The investment is $100. That is it. Rwanda, lastly, 5-year investor permit. They have consulting permits. Go to their eRainbow immigration site. Okay. Now, if you're like, how do I prepare for this? I need an extra set of eyes. I need to get in community with people who understand how this works, who have done this before in these countries that are listed, who know the ins and outs, who know how to get me access to this market, who know how to market my services and help me understand how to market them in this global economy, because we're in the AI age dealing with ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude, this guy, that AI, all of the things. We're covering all of that and more. Link in the description. Oh, but here's the thing. It literally starts in, gosh, what day is it? It's Tuesday, July 7th. You have 48 hours to sign up and that's it. Because I left 9 spots open and that's it. It's an incubated small room. I know you're the type of person does not want to be in a loud faction of loads and loads of people because you feel like you can't get value out of that. You want to be close and intimate spaces so you can get real answers and feel comfortable asking your questions, get strategic advisory guidance. This is the workshop intensive for you. It's going to be a full 90 minutes. Now we have another weird trend happening here in Europe, okay? Some of the UK's biggest banks have been failing their customers, their most vulnerable customers. And we know that the finance system has been really weird. It's going through a total flip. You're seeing stable coins secretly being behind the scenes in some of these digital companies. You're seeing crypto doing odd things, Bitcoin. This is why you have to be careful with investing. You're seeing a lot of strange stuff happening. Traditional banks failing. In our State of the Diaspora group, actually, one of our clients sent a message that was just astounding to the rest of the 64 plus people in the group. He said, these banks are failing. A bank in Georgia just failed, crashing all of the accounts of their consumers. And guess what? It was not FDIC insured. I said, oh, that's crazy. They're not keeping their end of the deal. That's a banking scam. Like, that's wild. But in the UK, banks have been pushing homeless people or those in financial hardship towards unsuitable online applications and away from basic bank accounts. These accounts are free, do not include an overdraft facility, and provide essential banking for those unable to open a mainstream account. This is coming from the BBC. Basic bank accounts have many of the same functions as a regular account, but are designed for those who might otherwise be excluded from the banking system. More than 4 million people in the UK have this system. It's offered by Barclays, HSBC, which is also out here in Mauritius, Lloyds Banking Group, the Halifax, and Bank of Scotland brands. These features include accepting payments such as wages and benefits, free but with no overdraft facility, available to those who have bad credit, and some access to homeless people. Okay, so this is getting increasingly weird, right? They want to allow access to some of these banking systems for a type of super surveillance control, but it's not a traditional bank. So it's like on one side, the UK's people, that 4 million of them are not up to economic standards for the country. And they're like, hey, get these accounts that aren't traditional accounts. So they're putting them almost in like a timeout bank account. Very strange, right? And simultaneously, they're also stating that Britain is now as poor as Mississippi. Oh, gosh, I'm gonna leave the article down below. It's from The Atlantic. How Britain is as poor as Mississippi. It just gives me pause because we are quite literally seeing the theme of this video and the theme of these times is Europe is falling on all fronts. The United Kingdom, Spain, France, Portugal. I mean, get out of these places if you're an expat. Get out of these places if you're diaspora because you're coming into a fallen continent, okay? Africa, on the hand, is a rising continent. And we can see that from a statistical standpoint. But quite literally, the poorest state in the U.S. is wealthier than the United Kingdom. And the United Kingdom, everybody knows, was the greatest superpower of all time. And America just celebrated the 4th of July, defeating the British crown, defeating them, and, being the top dog in the world. And it just does not look great for the United Kingdom right now. This was published June 10th, 2026. I think it's weird. It's quite frankly weird that the United Kingdom has fallen so far to the point where it is poorer than Mississippi. Mississippi. I haven't been to Mississippi, but I've heard stories. I've seen the documentaries. I mean, it's like a very, very poor state. Very, very sad. But the people in Mississippi, by and large, are doing better than the people in the United Kingdom. They're talking about this being the lost generation for the UK. They've yielded nothing but stagnation and mass disillusionment. That's literally what the article says. In 2007, before the global financial crisis, Britain was at its post-imperial zenith. Median household income had just surpassed that of Germany. A pound was worth more than $2, and London was arguably displacing New York as the center of international banking. But since then, Britain has been left behind, and that wasn't that long ago, 2007 crisis. The country's output per person is now only just above that of the state of Mississippi, America's poorest state, and that slight lead is only achieved thanks to London. Outside the capital, in places where tourists do not visit, living standards have fallen below Mississippi's. British people visiting the United States find their currency is depreciated to the point where the pound is only about $1.35 on the dollar. British wages have lagged well behind those in America, and also, get this, those of Germany, France, and the Netherlands and Denmark. Once you account for inflation, they've barely grown at all. Within the next decade, the typical Pole will have a standard of living equal to the typical Brit if current trends continue. Not sure what to say about that. I think that is crazy, but it makes me think of Mauritius, Africa, and Seychelles, Africa, which are numbers 1 and 2 for financial services in Africa, where they're acquiring this diversified investment from Ghana, from Nigeria, from South Africa, from Singapore, from Korea, from Dubai, from Abu Dhabi. And let me tell you something about Mauritius out here. This is where quiet wealth is. Like, this is the people that are not outwardly loud with wealth. These are the people they're like quietly like, yes, I hold this 8-figure business. Shh. Yes, I hold this 9-figure company. Yes, I have this 7-figure business, and we're going to be quiet about it. We're not going to be flashy, because real wealth is never flashy. Real wealth is quiet so that they can pass it down to their descendants. And that's the time we're in. And another thing about real wealth, it's not just counted in money. It's counted in, hey, how much free time do I have with my husband or wife? How much free time do I have with my family? Am I able to go out into my yard, into my neighborhood, and just walk barefoot and enjoy myself? These are the things that wealthy people care about, because the greatest things in life are not counted by the dollar. They're not counted by investments. They're not even counted by your biggest, best business deals. They're counted by the freedom and the time that you get with those that you love. And that, my friend, is the true wealth that money cannot buy. Money, business, these are all tools. They're a means to the end, but the true wealth is getting the time and the freedom to live outside of the matrix and design a life and live it in the way that you would choose. My life design, I wanted to live on an island. And so I'm here by the grace of Yah, living and thriving on an island, raising my 6 children with my husband, going on adventures, walking barefoot in our neighborhood, enjoying the rain, enjoying the poolside, doing the things that actually matter while serving our wonderful clients. Shalom, shalom. That's it for this video. Again, the State of the Diaspora 24th edition, business edition, with new accompanying workbook on entrepreneurship and market access into Ghana, Mauritius, and Rwanda from your home, by the way, because they all have online portals. Link in the description. Your investment is $100. Talk soon.